Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to yet another episode on this series that we are presenting round about how to better manage our businesses, irrespective of the magnitude or the size. And today we are going to look at something very interesting, but equally important as well. And this is the area of highlighting a bit of reasons or maybe issues or factors why some businesses fail actually. I mean, we read and agree that, for example, like the case of Ugandans, we are very entrepreneurial. We're very innovative. We start lots of businesses. However, one of the undoing issues or one of the negative aspects of or around about starting those businesses is many of them don't really live to celebrate their first, second birthday. And irrespective of whether businesses fail or succeed, we continue to start more businesses. But it's not very prudent to continue investing and you're making losses, because instead of progressing, you are regressing or even stagnating. So today I'm going to highlight mostly 6 areas that really outline why some businesses fail. They're not conclusive. There could be many others out there, but specifically for this case, I'm going to highlight these 6 areas. One is oftentimes we start businesses, one where we are not so very passionate about a given area. We only start those businesses because one, we've seen that they're trending in the market. We've had a bit of stories about them, and we've seen a couple of people maybe seemingly progressing in those business lines, and we quickly run into them. For example, I'll give you a case of, someone could tell you that salon business works, for example, but this is not an area that you are passionate about as an individual or even have a clue about. So because someone or you've seen a bit of success rate around that type of business, you quickly pick your money and invest in that area. So that is a critical factor, because when you are clueless about a given area, meaning you don't have the requisite maybe knowledge or skills round about that area, definitely you might not succeed. Why? Because to deliver on that area, one, you have to depend on people, and it becomes very complex for you as an entrepreneur when you're solely depending on maybe your employees to direct course of your business. It becomes a bit challenging. So what are we saying? Going forward, it's very important to venture into an area that you are passionate about. Probably you have a bit of skills around about that area. Otherwise, if you continue investing in areas that you're not passionate about, but you are only venturing into them because there's this notion that, the area is lucrative, stuff like that, sometimes you're bound to have challenges in your business. So that's point number 1, which is venturing into something that you are not passionate about, and probably you have limited knowledge and skill sets around that area. The second point I want to highlight is the issue of having a comparative advantage over other players within the market. So when your business has no advantage over competition, meaning you're doing literally what everybody else is doing, definitely you don't have an edge. You can only continue dominating or getting a bigger chunk of the market size or the market numbers if you have an edge over what you're doing. The edge could be in terms of the quality of your service or goods. It could be round about the customer service you offer. It could be round about the innovations you're introducing within your business and many other things. So the moment you are doing like everybody else, so meaning you don't have any leverage over competitors, so you're doing literally the same. So if the actors in the market are maybe a little bit better than you, all of you are the same, then it's at the mercy of the consumer to determine whether to buy from you or not to buy from you. So where you fail to uniquely innovate around your business, uniquely position yourself a bit up on the market, rather, it means that you can easily be knocked off, and definitely that is really a precursor to failing. Then the other, number two was on not having a competitive or comparative edge over actors in the market. You have nothing unique you're offering in terms of your value proposition. So number three is about not having a good business plan and a profitability model. So this, what will happen if you don't have a good business plan is one, you'll not project correctly. You can easily run out of money to continue, running your business. The tradition is oftentimes we dream about something, we get these ideas, and fast forward, we start. So what happens is we start businesses probably with less resources, and maybe the scope is much bigger than the resources we have. So along the way, we realized that probably we needed a lot more money than what we have, and maybe we have channeled the money at our disposal to maybe not so very priority areas of the business. I mean, we've seen people who, for example, someone wants to start maybe a shop selling different items. Could be agricultural inputs, could be the normal grocery, could be maybe setting up a salon, etc. So someone quickly secures maybe space, and maybe they pay upfront maybe 2-3 months or so. However, they forget to factor in the aspect of maybe the materials, the working capital, and all the items that are needed to do actually the actual selling or the actual production of the good or service. So along the way, you have paid maybe rent, but you don't have working capital. So what happens is you have to wait maybe to get working capital. In the process of waiting, the landlord is reducing the money of rent because you have already secured the place. However, if you had initially maybe drawn a business plan, you would have clearly understood your cash outflows, your expenses, then maybe compared with the funds available. Then you can be able to prioritize and say, do I really need to maybe hire space for maybe 400,000 per month if I don't have maybe money to stock what I'm going to sell or what I'm going to produce? But all this can best be informed by having a good business plan. So in one of the sessions, I promised we'll deeply delve into developing a business plan and look at the different segments of the business plan such that we can optimize that tool. It's a core planning tool. I mean, a business not having a business plan is, I could use the analogy of a Christian who does not have a Bible. I mean, under which framework are you going to be guided? So still a business without a business plan is something that is a great deficient for a business person, because you don't have a framework under which you are directing your vision or your business. So this is one of the failings of many entrepreneurs, where we fail to really have a good business plan. We don't have clear projections. We don't have clear strategies of how we're going to undertake our businesses, and all the different facets of the business plan that are critical to directing course of a business. Of course, the other aspect is, finance is a critical component of business. And when we look at finance, in this case, we are looking at the money that we're going to spend to put in place the business, to be able to offer the service or the products. But also we look at the possible money that is going to accrue to the business, or the possible money that is going to come into the business. So sometimes we get to be overly ambitious. And in terms of over ambitious, we over project our revenue, and maybe also underestimate our expenses. And of course, many times as entrepreneurs, we don't factor in the aspect of paying ourselves. We tend to treat the business money as our money. Of course, it is our money because we are the proprietors of these businesses, but in principle, this is not our money. Up to the point when maybe we have, balanced off, and we have realized the profits. Of course, the profits now, when we have gained profits, then we can make clear decisions around that money. But before we have computed around profits, before we have, paid off ourselves, the moment we start tampering with business money, then it becomes a challenge to continuity and progress of the business. So really, much as we want to have this feel-good, attitude, it is exciting to project that you are going to make, say, 10 million per month, which is okay. But the reality is, do you have what it takes to make the 10 million? Because you want to portray a scenario, a situation that maybe your business is projected to be profitable, or you are seeking out to access external funding. So you kind of try to portray a position where the business is financially healthy, and in that case, we are looking at the positivity side of making profits. So you try as much as possible to clamp down the expenses and maybe amplify the revenue. But it could save you in the short term. Maybe you are going to access the facility that you are looking out for. But at the end of the day, if you don't project the near to correct figures, especially in terms of balancing revenue and expenses, then it can become a challenge, because you might underestimate the expenses and you end up spending more. Then you over project revenue, then maybe you are getting less. But if you have developed, maybe going back to the component of the business plan, if you have developed the business plan, it will be very easy for you to simulate, different scenarios and make correct adjustments up to a point where you are satisfied that this is a true position, this is a true representation of the kind of business that I want to venture into. Number 5 is on the issue of the staffing, the human resources that you bring into your business. As entrepreneurs, sometimes because we don't want to maybe pay out much money, we tend to hire a bit of mediocre human resource that are not very skilled in a given area. Probably the thought is maybe they'll learn on the job, or along the way they will improve. But you see, this is a business. There's probably there should be no room for error, because if consistently these workers are making mistakes, the loss directly comes to your business. I remember in my printing business, we tried to hire a couple of people, and we had one time a marketer, then we had a graphics designer. Let me specifically dwell on those two. But we realized that the graphics designer we had in our business had a bit of skills in graphics designing, but he was not as artistic, as innovative as maybe an ideal graphics designer would be. But also the other gap, this individual didn't have any, he didn't have any ability of paying attention to detail. So sometimes work would be printed with glaring mistakes, and he was not consulting or giving, the work to another eye to look through. So volumes of work would be printed and they have mistakes. And definitely you cannot give a customer work with mistakes, yet they gave you the correct information. So we realized that we were redoing work and we were making losses. And this individual, at the end of the month, he was being paid his salary. So this is a critical lesson to to all businesses, that it saves you quite a lot to hire competent people than hiring mediocres into your business, because they are going to greatly contribute to loss into your business. But of course, there is the issue of trust. Where there is no trust, and this most affects businesses that sell consumables, sell goods. Like we've had stories, or we've even witnessed, where people who are working in bars, in the absence maybe of their bosses, they could come in with their own alcohol. And what happens is they first move the alcohol they've come in with before they start selling what the boss stocked. But at the end of the day, the boss must meet their expenses, their costs, including paying them. So if you are running your business with people with that kind of nature, back to my printing business, this particular individual, of course, eventually we had to let him go. He would take jobs on the side. Even when people walk into our space, he would take over the jobs. And I go to maybe NASA and other places and print from there. So he would use our computers, our electricity, our internet to do jobs that ideally would be meant for the business. By the end of the day, when the month ends, this is one individual who does not even want to wait for 2-3 days before they get paid. But in the real sense of doing work, they were very dishonest. So human resource can contribute to failure of business in terms of skill sets, as well as being trustworthy. Of course, there are aspects to do with poor management, expertise, and making glaring mistakes in terms of financing the business, in terms of hiring the staff, in terms of building relationships, in terms of motivating employees, in terms of making the right decisions. So entrepreneurs should equally invest in improving their management skills. I mean, we've seen people who hire people. You hire someone as a manager of your business, but you continue micromanaging them. You continue infusing your ideas onto them, but you give them the position of manager, for example. So where you are not able to effectively manage your team, effectively manage your business, effectively make the right decisions, etc., etc., that as well affects the performance of your business. So, in a nutshell, I've highlighted 6 critical areas that contribute to business failure. There could be many others. One, I talked about interest and passion in what you have started. 2, having a comparative edge over your competitors. Number 3, having a business plan. Number 4, making the right projections, not being over ambitious, not over projecting, and maybe underestimating your expenses. Then, of course, number 4 is about staffing. Hire the right people with the right skills, with the right morals, with integrity. Then lastly, be an effective manager. Management greatly impacts business, either positively or negatively. Thank you for listening in. Look forward to sharing another episode. Please follow through the junction. The junction will be bringing you a series of sessions like this. But of course, in the offing, we plan to also speak to entrepreneurs practically, to share a bit of their experiences, to share a bit of their lows, their highs, and maybe tips on how to become better business managers, better business owners. Thank you very much.